time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Good morning, Detroit! I am Nick Leach, filling in for the legendary Neil Rule. To my left, many of you already know him. He's been on the show the last couple of days. Easy.
What up,
filling in for four-time defending Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. I wanted to say defending Stanley Cup champion. I wish that was the case.
I always kind of like battled that. Like, are you a former champion or are you always a champion? You know what I'm saying?
I would say that you're always a champion no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, how? Because you can't ever take it away from somebody.
Yeah. Like, sometimes when I'm writing these, like, YouTube descriptions, I'm like, former champion and Stanley Cup champion. I'm like, I should just say, like, Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah, well, some people may look at it completely opposite, but that's their opinion. But I like my own opinion, so I'm rolling with my idea. But good morning, everybody. We got a great show on hand for you today. We're going to talk a lot of Lions. Obviously, the end of the year press conferences going on. We'll do a little bit of draft talk. Obviously, we don't want to beat a dead horse, as that's going to be a big talk around this city over the next few weeks or a few months, you could say. Talk Nick Lidstrom is back with the Red Wings. Ooh, baby. Come on now, Easy.
Let go.
Liddy is back. We'll do and then we'll talk some of these NFL words at the end of the show. But Easy, obviously, you can tell in your voice you're not feeling the best in the world. But the good news is you don't have COVID.
Hey, yes. Shouts out to, I'm going to keep it low-key, actually. Spot out in New Baltimore. They do free COVID testing. Everywhere else, that's the thing about, like, trying to get a COVID test is, like, it's dire need. You need to find out so you go back to work, so you can, like, be with your family, like, do all these kinds of events. But it's impossible to find one. Like, for me to schedule a COVID test yesterday was such a pain in the butt. I almost said the A word, caught myself. But, It's just crazy how insane it is to find like a COVID test. Whether you have to buy one in store, not available, schedule one, you have to wait 5 days, and just to find out if you have it or not, you know? But thankfully, I found a spot, and I am negative. If you guys need a spot, let me know. I got you.
I honestly would rather the fact that we have a shortage and maybe COVID tests than we did like the toilet paper back when this whole pandemic started. That was not a good time. So
you'd be pooping, huh?
Yeah, I think everybody.
Pooping.
But I'm happy you're here. Obviously, it's a big week for you too. Like, so you've been on the show all week, and go ahead and let everyone else know what you and Spencer, who TD's the Woodward Bets show, what you guys got going on tomorrow.
Hey, baby, we got the Woodward Oh, yeah, brother. We got the Woodward Heavyweight Show coming this Saturday with Ariel Helwani every week. Make sure you tune in, brother. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so new podcast to the network with the Heavyweight Boys. So
yes,
I got to experience them in their little promo yesterday. Threw me out of Studio B, which is almost up and running, which will be awesome for us to have here at the Woodward Sports Network. So a lot of people don't know who Ariel Helwani is, and I'm not a big MMA guy either, but he is like one of the biggest announcers in MMA, and like you always see like the reaction videos with him and Joe Rogan like going crazy when someone gets knocked out. And I've heard him on a few other podcasts in the past too, so he's a great listen, and that's a huge get for your first ever episode.
Dude, honestly, it's insane. I was lucky enough to go to I don't know if you want to call it lucky or not, but I went to the first Jake Paul Tyron Woodley fight, and then I was lucky enough to bump into Ariel, the Schmo, amongst other peoples, and be able to like rub shoulders with them, and like I don't know, man, it's kind of crazy doing this whole media thing as like actual job now. Like you and I, we talk about this all the time. Like it's just wild. It's a dream come true. But yeah, man, I was able to rub shoulders with Ariel Helwani. He has contact information, and I didn't stop bugging him since August. And he's finally coming on the podcast in January. Luckily enough, it's the heavyweights one too, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and let everyone know too. Like, what you're gonna be talking MMA, you're gonna be talking Detroit sports. You're kind of doing almost whatever, right? Whatever popular is that day or that week. Yeah, man. Like anything, I guess you consider like pop culture mixed in with the sports, as well as like combat sports. Like we don't really have that anymore here with Woodward Sports, so I want to bring that back a little bit. And obviously, got to talk Detroit sports. Like that's like where my heart is. So it's kind of gonna be all over the place. To set the tone, I don't know if I should leave this surprise or not, but the first topic, we're going to be power ranking the hottest moms in sports. Probably going to be our first topic. Just to set the tone so everyone knows, what goes down at Woodward Heavyweights. Yeah, it's going to be fun for you guys, and I'm actually excited to listen to it as well. When is that going to come out every Friday, or what's your guys' plan exactly? It's once a week, 2 times a week?
So this Friday just landed on Friday because of how the scheduling worked with Ariel, but I think Mondays are going to be the go-to.
Okay.
And maybe release Monday night or maybe even Tuesdays. Just because Monday's coming in, that's when the weekend's over, all the NFL's been played. You know what I'm saying? If I do it on a Friday, it's heading into. So, I don't know. Who knows? If it's big enough, maybe we'll do it 2 times a week. If the people love it, we'll give them what they want.
Yeah, give them what they want. Unfortunately, I won't be on the show. I'm out of heavyweight, so.
Yeah, kale eating.
Yeah, I mean, I had some kale last night. It was awesome. But
you can definitely come on the show sometime, man.
All right, I'll think about it.
Is there any wrestler voices you can do?
No, not. I could maybe do back in the day, everyone used to do is like, if you smell what the Rock. I can't do the eyebrow.
Can't do the eyebrow?
No, I can't do that.
So you got any wrestling voices in your repertoire?
We've done a little Macho Man Randy Savage every once in a while. Like, my body is 65% cocaine at this moment because I'm Macho Man Randy Savage.
I don't watch wrestling. I know there's a few guys here on the network. I know Braylon's a big wrestler. Corey, D-Mac, they're all big wrestling fans. I don't watch it.
I fell into a dark loophole on YouTube last night getting into some WWE stuff. It was wild. Yeah. I watched a 30-minute video on the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. The best streak in wrestling history. It was 21-0 in WrestleMania until he lost to Brock Lesnar. And then I watched WrestleMania 25, dude. The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. What about? Dude just straight up pencil dove off the ring onto the ground to try and hit Shawn Michaels, and the Undertaker landed on a cameraman. Obviously it's staged, but it was wild, dude. It landed right on his head. They added a bone popping sound effect to it, to add realism. It was crazy.
That's the
I
thing
could not
too.
believe it.
It's it's staged, but you could only fake jumping off of a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, till you actually mess yourself up, and it happens. Dudes get hurt. Rest in peace, Owen Hart. It's legendary. Well, Bret Hart's cousin or something like that fell and broke his neck coming down on a zip line. There's only so much of that you can fake until you're actually messing yourself up.
Well, and that's what, some of the interviews you hear too about the big match between bringing up the Undertaker again is Undertaker and Mankind, the Hell in the Cell match that they had, and they told
he threw him off the top of the thing,
and they told him too to stop, and he just kept going.
Yeah, and it broke through. That was not supposed to happen. And wasn't there tacks at the bottom of it too?
Yeah,
bro. Yeah,
to a certain extent you can fake it, but at the end of the day, some of those stunts they did were real. You can't deny. Falling on a bed of tacks, that's not fake. That is a real thing happening.
Exactly.
So that takes me back to my childhood. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but I did watch it a lot growing up. R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero, that was my guy. But talking about something else that's happening that's real exciting here in Detroit is the big tweet that came out yesterday from Detroit Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson. You got it up on the screen there. Back in the Lions Den, he tweeted out with a picture of him at Ford Field, and it blew up all over Detroit. It was hard to ignore. And the reports coming out after saying, it's not nothing new. It's just he was visiting their organization. Now, Easy.
Yes.
When someone owes you a good amount of money, and there's been strong disdain throughout the entire membership, throughout the front office, and throughout the time that you've left the organization, are you gonna just go visit them and hang out?
No, he's getting paid. He probably got paid to tweet that out.
I fully believe, now this is all speculation. This is all speculation here. I believe that there was an NDA signed if they're never going to come out and say that he got his check. I think there might be something involved with that. And there's another picture that he put up as well too that, he was sitting in the stands. I was like, oh, I might have to get some season tickets next year. It looks pretty sweet from up here. I was like, wait, what? I was like, you just don't, if you're just there hanging out, everyone knows, all your business is out in the air. You're not just going to go there and hang out and be a part of the organization again unless they're paying you.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened, by the way. I was only at 800 followers when this happened, but I got a deal I get paid $50, $60 to just retweet this gambling site. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Calvin's probably getting paid $500,000 per tweet. Yeah. That's why I shot 2 of them out last night. Oop, oop. They're like, yo, you gotta make this look real, bro. Spread it out a little bit. But I think this shows a little bit of competence in the Lions front office, and more importantly, in ownership with Sheila Ford, because for me, with that whole thing going down, it was the optics of it. Like it like cemented us being a bad organization. Like, not only are you going to come here and lose, we're also not going to pay you or show any kind of respect, because Calvin Johnson wasn't a regular player. Calvin Johnson's a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for us to let him walk away from the sport, like leave him with such disdain, he's like, you know what, I'm done. I don't even want to like do this anymore. Definitely not here. And then we don't pay him on top of that. Like, that's not a normal practice in the NFL. Andrew Luck, when he retired from the Colts, Sawyer knows, he got paid the rest of his money. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's a damn good player, but not a Hall of Famer. It cemented us being a bad organization. But the fact they're hopefully fixing it with this tweet coming out shows me there's some like competence finally in their front office.
Yeah, and I don't think necessarily that Megatron runs his social media account. He was responding to a few tweets and Instagram posts too, and he said nothing, just literally visiting, just having like just meeting up. And I was like, there's no way that you just come hang out, make all these posts without something getting done. And kind of to what you just said, if the optics of that are unbelievable. If you can bring a guy like that and make him a part of this organization, when you have a guy like Dan Campbell who finished out the season quote unquote strong, I get the wins weren't quite there, but to have that happen in what seems to be a big culture shift, like that is huge for this organization to stamp the end of the year. Like that is a huge way to end the season if that's the case.
No, 1,000%. And like another thing goes into like, it's almost worth paying him just to shut his mouth. I love you, Calvin. I don't mean to say it like that, but like he's going on the Pat McAfee show, on Rich Eisen, and he's talking about, no, we haven't figured anything out. I'm still not paid. It's just, he's like spreading it, making us look like crap. And it's like, pay this man so this stops happening, dude. Pay him.
Then he'll stop saying stuff about the Lions.
Exactly. Like do it.
But it's their fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's clearly he likes the city around here, too. He still has a place out in Metro Detroit. I almost said the city. I was like, I'm not trying to air his business too much. I'm sure people know where it's at.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Real quick. The one thing, too, is like people are like, oh, he quit on the team. He quit on the team. The Ford family will make money off of Calvin Johnson's name long gone after he's dead. When he's gone from this earth, they're going to continue to sell Calvin Johnson jerseys. They're still going to use them in promos. They're still going to pay tributes and sell bobbleheads. Like, that money is toilet paper to them.
Yeah,
and they're not toilet paper crisis. Like, they have it. Trust me.
Yeah, the money is definitely not an issue for them. But I got Mr. Ray here in the YouTube chat. If you're following along, go ahead, tap into our YouTube. Mr. Ray says in the chat, if Barry and Megatron are back, you'd have to imagine that the curse has been lifted. And I agree to that. The Bobby Lane curse, I believe, is real. Whatever people want to say about that. But I think it all started with the Matthew Stafford trade. A player that was, has Hall of Fame potential, who, was kind of at the end of the ropes here in Detroit, and you actually granted him a chance to leave and give him a new kind of slate with Los Angeles. And, Barry didn't get that opportunity. Calvin didn't get that opportunity. And when Sheila Ford Hamp and Brad Holmes let that happen, like that, there's good karma in all of that, right?
Yeah.
So I believe in karma, and for me, like I do believe that, like if especially if you can wipe that slate clean with Calvin Johnson too, like that's going to breed good karma, and that could be good for this Lions organization. People are like, this Nick Leach guy thinks karma is going to help the Lions, but it's just it's the optics, it's the business side of are they doing right by people? Like that plays a big factor in what this organization is and what it's become. So over the last, I don't know, it's been a crazy, as much like, there hasn't been too much winning on the field, but the last 2-3 months now for this Lions organization, it really makes you sit back and like, holy crap, like maybe they are actually steering this thing in the right direction.
No, 1,000%. And like, I guess the other part of it that I wanted to say was we got to go to break, so we'll hit it back. But Nick, where do you get your hair cut? Because it just looks so nice, and this makes me miss my hair. Like, where do you go to look like that?
There's only one spot that I would ever go, and that's Lady Jane's. The best place on earth to get your hair cut. Open 7 days a week. 7 days a week, 10 to 8 every single day. You come in, you sign in. Don't forget to sign in. If you don't sign in, you're just going to be sitting there the whole time, and no one's going to ever come up to you. But you come in, sign in, and then they got beautiful TVs with the comfiest chairs in the world you can hang out in, watch some sports. But you can also call ahead, make reservations, and you get to select your hairstylist too. So if there might be one that you like to get your hair right every time, come in and see them. Open 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep.
paint, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
We are back on Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. Neil Rule out announcing the Oakland Grizzlies finally back in action. They had a big COVID pause, so they're back in action. So Neil's out on the road, chasing after those Grizzlies. To my left, I got Easy filling in for four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer in the TD booth, Flannel Sam pushing those hot buttons. Easy?
Yes, sir.
Someone said in the chat you have to stop smoking.
Dude, I got to stop smoking fools like you on the basketball court. Remember that commercial?
Oh, my God. That just took me back. Someone in the chat also said I got a 5-star recruit hair. How about that? That might be the nicest thing Mike G's ever said about me. So
wow, you guys have put him in the same category as Jeff?
Yeah, that's. Hey, someone's got to compete with Jeff here for his hair. So I'm up there. I even got the salt and pepper on the side. You know,
you can only get that done at Lady Jane's, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out Lady Jane's. But Easy, before we went to break, we were talking Calvin Johnson a little bit. You know, came back, put a social post up with the Lions saying, you know, I'm just here doing business, yada, yada, yada.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Yeah. I'm just here so I can get mine.
and we're talking about the future of the Detroit Lions. If he comes back as part of this organization, that's a good sign. That's a great sign. And what a lot of Lions fans want to see him involved in this front office, much like Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman have done over the years. So it was almost like a little Christmas yesterday seeing that. So
yeah,
talking about the future now, it's hard right now. You know, the year finished off very strong for the Lions and exciting, I guess you could say. You saw a lot of good pieces. Amon-Ra St. Brown really came on. Penei Sewell finished off the season unbelievably. So it's hard not to keep wanting to talk about the Lions draft coming up, but that's something that's going to be a huge talk around this town over the next few months, and it's something that I've already looked about. We've done it a ton already, like you and I, and you've been big on this guy named Kyle Hamilton, and obviously that's a huge defensive need for the Lions as some more secondary help. But for me, I think the biggest need for this Lions organization moving forward is some defensive pass rush. They've ranked to the bottom of the league in sacks again this year. And I get Trey Flowers has been hurt most of the year, but they've got to do something to really disrupt offenses. You watch Aaron Rodgers, and the Lions did a fairly good job at getting some pressure on him in the last game of the season during that first half. But there comes a point of, just creating pressure and actually getting to the quarterback and bringing him down. And we watch a lot of these teams that compete in the playoffs. They usually have one or two good pass rushers that truly disrupt a game. And for me, that's where I think the biggest need for this team is going into the offseason, and it really needs to be addressed. But I know for you, you're really hell-bent on getting a guy like Kyle Hamilton over maybe a guy like Thibodeau or Hutchinson.
Yeah, it's just more so like I have more faith and belief in a guy like Kyle Hamilton over Hutchinson or Thibodeau. Like Thibodeau, he's coming from the Pac-12, which is like heavily a pass conference, right? He only has like 5 or 6 sacks in the year. Like if you're supposed to be who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like the number 1 overall pick as a pass rusher, like I don't know, man. I feel like your numbers should be a little bit higher than that. Aiden, as much as I love him, one thing I'd say about him is he runs like a 4-3 defensive end. That's not our scheme. We talk about like how we rank in the pass rush and the sacks and stuff like that. I think you have to consider like the injuries we saw this year. One guy that we're paying $14 million a year right now, Romeo Okwara, gone, torn Achilles. Trey Flowers, in and out all season. Like some like remnants of pass rush we did see was in Harris. And he's a free agent. That's to be determined. So, like, you're not wrong there. I actually do have, edge rush as a need on this team. I think Kyle Hamilton, out of those two, though, is more of a sure thing. Where I'm poised with more questions of the other two. I think Kyle Hamilton's like absolute stud.
Do you think they can take Kyle Hamilton at that 2 position, though?
I wouldn't be mad. Like, honestly, God, I would not be mad. No.
You don't think that would be too high?
No, dude. I like this thing with like draft value is just, like it's literally like a made up thing. I get where it comes from, and it's in terms of like contract and what you have to pay that guy, like what you would pay that guy, a premier edge rusher on the market or premier quarterback on the market. Like that's where like the value comes in. But like truly the value is like the pick that you want, the pick that's going to produce for you. And I think the guaranteed pick on that for me is Kyle Hamilton. But I really didn't want to talk to players. I kind of want to talk like the positions, like what do you see as like draft needs for this team? You know, because we have all year, like you said, to talk about like specific players, but like positional wise, like what do you think's the line?
So if you're ranking them from top to bottom, I'm going to go. I would do a 1A and 1B with defensive line. You have to address the defensive line a bit more. Probably edge rush. And then 1B would probably be linebacker, too. I mean, you got Nakobe Dean sitting there, and I think he definitely raised his draft stock, especially after the national championship game. I'm all for the Lions trading down. Like you said, we'll talk about that at a different time. But that defensive side of the ball, because I think the secondary, we had a lot of those pieces step up and kind of be the surprise of the season, I guess you could say. So, do you get Jeff Okudah back? And I'd like to see him what happens with Aubrey Pleasant here, and hopefully Aaron Glenn's still here and doesn't get a head coaching job selfishly for myself. But if he does, congratulations to him. But I would like to see, that's my biggest thing is with Jeff Okudah this with him having his Achilles injury is what could have happened with him this offseason? What type of growth could he have had? And to me, I think your cornerbacks are okay. Amon-Ra stepped up and was good. But to me, the biggest issue, again, is that defensive side. Now, to address after that, you have to look at the receiver position. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown was a great addition. Josh Reynolds, great addition. But are those guys truly number one outside threats? No, not exactly. I don't think so. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, how we used him, you used him a lot in the slot. You used him out of the backfield. He wasn't really your deep threat guy that can go down the field and catch that football. So for me, that's still a position that needs to be addressed. Whether George Pickens is there in the late first round, that's a big guy that can go up and get the ball. We saw that again in the national championship game. Not opposed to that. But a lot of people think QB too. Is get a QB in here. Like, do you take Sam Howell late in the first round? Do you take Desmond Ridder possibly with your second round pick? I don't know. Like those are kind of my areas of concern. Is number one defensive edge rush? Is it linebacker or is it defensive end? I honestly could go with either one. You could have a versatile linebacker that lines up at the defensive end side and kind of play a split role a little bit. So for me, it goes pass rush, then receiver, then quarterback. For me, you could interchange this easily because I feel like they're all obviously clearly positions of need. But I put linebacker as my number one. For 2 years, some of the fan base has been like literally begging for this. However, we all know it's like we need it. I mean, you mentioned in your list too, linebackers, and like I'm looking at our list of like free agents that we'll also get into later in the show. But linebacker, we got a lot of them. We don't have anyone back there. It was stitched together throughout the year due to injury. I mean, even Anzalone, who I feel like a lot of us kind of grew to like a little bit, he's a free agent now too. Yep. So like I think that's something we definitely need to address. And I'm talking again like throughout the draft. I'm not saying like number one or number two or anywhere. I'm just saying like, hey, we need to fill this spot. There's a void there. Another on the position on the list is safety. We have Tracy Walker as a free agent. Charles Harris, who, God, no, please don't bring him back. I think, who's the other guy? I was going to say Malone. I know it's not his last name. For who?
The safety. I know we signed him. He's a veteran. I'll find it. Damn it. But safety's a position of need. It is. Unless you're going to re-sign Tracy Walker. To what extent? I don't know. I don't know how much you're going to pay Tracy Walker. But, and obviously receiver. The thing with me, receiver, and it's kind of further down my list, is like, look at the Patriots right now. And honestly, throughout the history, multiple Super Bowls, right? Aside from Randy Moss, which they didn't win a Super Bowl with, have they ever needed like a true like number one like stud receiver to get it done?
Yeah, but at the same time too, you had Tom Brady there.
You did have Tom Brady, but even then, like, look at the number one receivers in the league right now. Like, all right, actually, good question. Who's the best receiver in the league right now?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is in the playoffs. Devontae Adams, how many Super Bowls?
One.
None. Actually.
Oh yeah, none. Yeah,
no, it's just not like and you can find those guys late too. You know what I'm saying, like even Josh Reynolds.
He was a second round draft pick.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like it's not like a dire need for me. The guys like draft one early, get one in the first round. The other thing too is like if we got a stud like Jamar Chase, I don't think Jared Goff would even be able to utilize him to his true skill. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not throwing deep balls. I'm not trusting Jared Goff to throw deep to that guy. Like, I don't know that we have the offense to even utilize a number one receiver like that. Other position I have on here, before my voice goes, is edge. I have to say that.
Yeah.
And quarterback for the future.
Yeah, and that's you made a very good point. Like, if you're keeping Jared Goff here, is you don't need the outside threat. I look at the Rams organization and how they used Jared Goff, how they made the playoffs, and how they made their Super Bowl run. It was made up of a lot of Amon-Ra St. Browns, a lot of slot guys. Robert Woods, not really a deep threat. Cooper Kupp, not really a deep threat. I mean, now you are with Matthew Stafford there a bit more, Van Jefferson, but Josh Reynolds was kind of their down the field guy there when Jared Goff was in LA, and you kind of saw a little bit of that with Detroit this year too. That safety you were thinking was Dean Marlowe, is who the free safety that you were thinking of.
Yes, thank you.
So that's obviously that there's a lot of positions that need to be addressed. I mean, just running down the list of some of the upcoming free agents is Tracy Walker, Charles Harris, Khalif Raymond, Anzalone, Reeves Maben, Nick Williams, Evan Brown, Josh Reynolds, Tim Boyle, Dean Marlowe, Jason Cabinia, and Will Holden. Like, those, I don't know how many of those names you'd actually want to bring back. And at the same time too, like, remember, this was still only a 3-win football team. Are those guys crucial to bring back? I don't think anyone's really that crucial to bring back on a 3-win football team. Yeah, like they filled a role that it was a challenging year to say the least, but. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Lions, and I wouldn't be surprised. I see the chat, and a lot of the guys in the YouTube chat are saying Jabril Peppers, free agent, bring him in this year from the Giants. Is bring him back to.
Is that a Michigan thing though? Like, are we keeping it real with Jabril? Like, it kind of rhymed, whatever. But how do you feel about Jabril? Like, would you rather have Tracy Walker or Jabril? I feel like Jabril's more of a box safety.
I feel like Jabril and Tracy Walker kind of play a very similar type style of football. Hard hitting. They can make the opening field tackle. Now I would have to do a deep dive into their coverage schemes a little bit more.
Yeah.
Tracy Walker, I do think's better in coverage than maybe Jabril is. But that's still a name out there. Is like, if you're not I don't think Jabril Peppers is going to be a highly touted free agent that the Lions could maybe definitely go out and get.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys on the pass rush and the edge and stuff like that too. Like, I agree. I would love to have edge rusher. Like, the team that had most success for me as a Detroit Lions fan was the Detroit Lions when they had Ndamukong Suh and Anza, and they were just terrorizing guys in the backfield. But who's the biggest edge rusher on Tampa Bay when they won the Super Bowl last year?
Suh.
Rusher, though. He's not really rushing the quarterback. Like, Suh's not going to get you. Like, he's more for stopping the run.
Defensive end or linebacker?
Yeah, like who was terrorizing quarterbacks on Tampa Bay?
Well, you had Levante David there,
right? But he's like a linebacker in coverage and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, and then you go back the year before that. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Who was their dominant edge rusher? It's kind of hard to come up with those names, right? But I can name you some safeties. They're like, oh damn, he did make some plays to get there. Antoine Winfield, on the Tampa Bay Bucks last year. You had the Honey Badger on the Chiefs before that. You have Malcolm Jenkins when he was on the Eagles. Devin McCourty's on this list multiple times. TJ Ward. Like, safeties are important, playmaking safeties. And with Kyle Hamilton, he has the energy to play box and coverage. And we know where he gets that energy? I bet he gets that energy from Centron. Made here in Detroit. The official sponsor, official energy drink sponsor for the Detroit Red Wings. Exclusively in Little Caesars Arena. They're also proud of sponsorship with the Detroit Pistons. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, a great taste, Centron's your top choice. This is Woodward Sports. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Start your new year with a new network. Woodward Sports Network is here.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. To my left, we got Easy filling in for 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. In the TD booth, we got our boy Sawyer. On the 1s and 2s, we got Flannel Sam over there bringing us all that premium sound. Easy, you doing all right over there? You're struggling.
I'm doing better. What happens is every time I get my voice back, I wasted on one of these, brother. Like an idiot.
I feel like you should just talk like that maybe the entire show, and then your voice will be there the entire time.
I actually said that during the first break. I was like, I can't do my normal voice, but if I talk like Macho Man, it'd be a lot easier. But I see some comments in the YouTube chat. Randy Thing, I think is how you want to say his name, but he lists off some names. Pierre Paul, Barrett, Devin White, all got sacks, and it's a team effort. Now, what you see with the Detroit Lions, when we did get our sacks, team effort. What we're getting back, some edge rushers, Flowers, Aquara, team effort. Like, hey, we saw Levi and McNeil come alive towards the end of the season too, kind of developing in their roles with this defensive line as well. Like, I just feel like it can work hand in hand.
Yeah, well, and obviously that's a name that you bring up too is Trey Flowers, and that's a name you see going around a lot of people are asking the question, is that a guy that you keep? Because if you do cut Trey Flowers this offseason, you're going to save up to just over $10 million in cap space. Like, that's a lot of money for this team to go into free agency, and I believe that would get them up close to $44 million in free cap space going into this offseason. And, we talked about is do you re-sign Harris? Do you re-sign Anzalone? Who do you re-sign? Who do you really cut? I'm on the kind of bandwagon of keeping Flowers. You're already paying the guy. Let him finish out the contract, and if he is having a good season next year and you're kind of still middle of the pack and you're not really competing for a playoff spot next year, that could be a good piece of trade bait.
Yeah, I touched on that point a little bit yesterday too, because based off Brad Holmes' comments made in his closeout presser, I don't know what you'd call that, but look at the Detroit Pistons. A lot of people, a lot of fan base are saying they need veterans. They need veteran leadership in that locker room. And that's why they're kind of like struggling, or that could help them at least. You have that in Trey Flowers. Are we paying him a crap ton of money? Yes. I think he's the 4th or 5th highest paid edge rusher in the league. Is he producing to that? No. But there's still some value there. Now, if we do cut him, we do get $10 million, around $10 million. And then you can re-sign a guy like Charles Harris if you truly like him. And I apologize, guys' name wrong. I see you guys correcting me in the chat 15 times. I appreciate that. But to me, I'm not going to be brokenhearted if we cut from him, because, again, we get that $10 million, but what do we do with that $10 million,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Is not to relate it too much to another sport, but you look at a guy like Blake Griffin or Derrick Rose and kind of what they meant for this Pistons organization last season. They were competing. They finished better in the 4th, and as much as people don't want to say it, but like that veteran leadership goes a long way in any organization. And he is one of the only few pieces left on that defensive side of the ball that has the playoff experience in his years with the Patriots, knows how to win big games, knows how to close out games in the 4th. So for me, I get, you're not getting all the on the field production, and guys are gonna have up and down years, but he especially if you bring in, let's say you do draft a guy like Thibodeau. Trey Flowers isn't the worst person in the world to be learning the modern day game from.
No, yeah. And again, he's been in the positions of, this is the thing too, is like you have a veteran who like made that amount of money, and obviously I'm sure there's young guys in that team that want to make that amount of money, and he's showing that leadership of how he got there. You know what I'm saying? Like the work ethic, the stuff in the locker room, stuff behind the scenes, on top of like the game plan. Again, that's the one thing I could say about Trey Flowers, and I get he come from the New England organization beforehand, but like when everything was crumbling around and Slay was leaving, Diggs was leaving, and there was rift with the Patricia, he kept his head forward, and he was the guy that always was like, hey, I'm just going to do what Coach tells me to do. Now, again, that could be because of his relationship with Patricia back in New England, but he's also just like, I don't know, he's going to follow the recipe,
Yeah.
And hopefully it leads to success. Now, I see some comments. It's actually around 10 to 11 million that we'd make back in cutting Trey Flowers. That is a lot of money with a guy like Brad Holmes who could find you Jerry Jacobs off of UDFAs. But ultimately, I think there's some value in him being a veteran leader in the locker room.
Yeah, and I agree, especially with, you run up and down the secondary. I mean, Tracy Walker is a name that I believe has to come back, and a guy that I believe is willing to come back. I believe the Lions will pay him whatever like he needs or whatever is equivalent to get him back in a Lions uniform. I looked at him this year as, the captain of that defense. When all else failed, when you needed somewhat of a big stop in some of these close games, it always seemed like Walker was there. So to me, if Tracy Walker doesn't come back, that's going to be a huge issue in itself on that defensive box. And then if that's the case, then go get your boy Kyle Hamilton.
I have a question. Now, this one's kind of fun to play with. Who would you rather have back, Flowers or Harris? Because you can take the money you save and cut in Flowers to re-sign Harris.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both of it, right? You have to sit down and really see it. I mean, yeah, you could possibly get away with cutting Flowers if you do bring in a guy like Hutchinson or Thibodeau. You know, someone that's going to take his spot with, because any of those guys, you're looking to come in right away and be a starter. Like, am I wrong in saying that?
No, absolutely. No.
Yeah, if you're not a starter.
Question.
Yeah. So
if they're not, me and Spence will come visit them in our WWE office. You know, to work something out.
Right. So maybe you sense if that's the way you're going, then maybe the Flowers cut makes sense. I still think the veteran leadership pays big dividends. But to me that would, and then if you do cut him, then you use that money to sign Harris. Harris was a great addition to the linebacker core this season.
And I'm looking at, like, last night I did a little bit of homework, not all of it because I did feel like booty cheeks, but I'm looking at some cuts we can make to save some money. And one guy we would make, I guess gain $8 million back in cap, is a guy like Big V, you know, interior offensive lineman, which we saw a guy step up this year, Evan Brown, and play the center position in Frank Ragnow, which I'm not trying to discredit Frank Ragnow. He's great, and he's brilliant. He's smart. Like, one thing people don't realize about the center position, they're like a mini quarterback for that offensive line. They're calling out the checks. They're calling out the blitzes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do to step up and fill the void. I think Evan Brown might be able to replace a Big V and save us $8 million in the cap, and maybe bring back Flowers and Harris.
Yeah. The Big V signing, when it happened, a lot of people were like, you paid that guy all that money to be a backup, essentially. Like, he was a backup tackle.
Yeah, and ultimately, and eventually moved him to guard last year, but ultimately that's why my man BQ don't got a job no more. You know what I'm saying?
I have a little secret about me is I actually have a personal relationship with BQ. So a lot of people don't know that. Obviously, I like Bob Quinn from a personal standpoint. And I'm going to leave it at that. He was actually, we had a pretty good relationship at my previous employer. So, but I see a few guys in the chat. Daniel Gray says $21 million for leadership in the locker room, but really on the field is absurd. But Dan, at the same time too, this is a guy that has that type of talent. That's why he was getting the money that he did. So I believe that's in there. And, is maybe if you do, like, I think a big part of, if you have a core back on the opposite side and a healthy one, then it makes Trey Flowers that much better on the opposite side.
Yeah, and let's not play like he wasn't, like, somewhat productive when he was on the field and healthy. And, like, keep in mind too, not fully healthy in the moments he was in the field. And then we're talking about the pass. When I'm asking you about the pass rushes for the past Super Bowl champions, there was a bit of a pass rush, but it was a team effort. He's along with that. Like I said earlier, you got Flowers, Aquara, and then Harris. I'm cool with all of them. I know some people yesterday were talking about cutting Brockers. You're only saving $1 million with cutting Brockers. And that's another veteran leadership, in my opinion, too. But I wouldn't be brokenhearted if we cut ties with Trey Flowers. But I just think I wouldn't be upset if we cut them as well. When Brad Holmes made that comment yesterday, he's a glue piece, a leadership piece. There's value to it, and that's why.
Yeah, I'm with you. If like I said, it's weird sitting here saying that you truly trust whatever Brad Holmes has done or what he's going to do. Is that something we haven't really seen out of the Lions organization, and maybe even since the day I was born. So whatever he decides to do, I mean, I'm with it. At the same time, too, how many people are you going to cut? How many people are you going to get rid of to have, like, all this dead cap space? Again, not to bring the Pistons too much into it, but they've got so much dead space over there, too, this year is, you're just paying guys not to be here. And if try to get as much production as you can. And I'm all on the train is can you turn him into a trade piece? Like I said, if you can bring him in, if you can get him to have a bounce back year, like I said, if you put a Thibodeau on the opposite side of him, who knows? Trey Flowers could have a bounce back type year. It is the last season of his contract. He knows he has to play well to get more money the following year. So I always think guys in their last year perform better.
No, yeah, they want that money.
Right, 100%.
I think Sue, other than his rookie year, I think his best year was his contract year. You know what I'm saying? But that's the way it goes. It is what it is. And for anybody looking for, like, the cap research, if you guys want, like, real easy way to do that, my man Eric Schlitt from Pride of Detroit, shout out to him, and my man Morgan Canyon. You guys check out their website. They got the whole roster listed. if you're guaranteed money, that's what we'd have to pay in dead cap. We cut a guy, and obviously the cap hit is, once you do the math on that, that's what we'd gain in cap space. But the only guys when I'm looking at that, only guys worth cutting, Big V. Really, you save $8 million. It's nothing against Big V. I don't bash the way he played the interior offensive line this year, but for $8 million in cap space, and we got a guy like Evan Brown, and we saw Frank Haley take these guys again off the street. That's another guy I don't get credit. We're always on Aubrey Pleasant and Aaron Glenn for bringing on these UDFAs and having them perform well. Our offensive line went through it this year. And my man, Frank Haley, I say his name wrong. That's not his first name. I apologize. But he did his damn thing with Evan Brown and others.
Yeah, and that was it almost kind of, that offensive line played so well this year to some degree that it almost made you forget about that big fee signing last year. And, you're going to get Ragnow back. You got Decker. You got Sewell. Evan Brown, like you said, he played well at times when he had to fill in. So, I am 100% for it with that of cutting Big V. When you're looking at all these free agents, what's the one name or two names that you think has to be back in a Lions uniform? Obviously, Tracy Walker, we can agree, has to be back. I think even more than him, a guy like Charles Harris. Really? Yep, former first-round pick. He showed, obviously, enough potential to be a first-round pick. And he plays here, kicks, can we say the ass word on the radio? Kicks ass for us, man. And he's hungry. He obviously works in our system. We add him. We cut out that team rush that I was talking about with Tampa Bay. We have a good defense. We know where else you get a good defense? Guardian Alarm. Guardian Alarm. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Get art technology that helps you feel safe with local 24/7 monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in your home, control your lights, temperatures, detect smoke and carbon dioxide. But you want to know how you sign up for Guardian Alarm? Is there a number or something? Oh, there's a number, buddy. What's that number? Oh, it's 1-800-STAY-OUT. 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 Get out of my house. Whoa! We'll be back. Big D Energy.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it. Spin. Spin. Uh-oh. Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin. Spin. Until you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
We are back here on Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. To my left, we got our boy Easy, filling in for a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, Darren McCarty. Easy, what's it like sitting in a seat that, is owned by Darren McCarty?
Nick, when I'm in this seat, it's all about the culture, all right? It's all about the culture, and the eyes are playing, all right?
I wish you had the piece of paper that he slapped on his forehead that one time. Eyes are playing.
Your eyes are playing!
Did you actually see the video of D-Mac? They were down welcoming Nick Lidstrom back to the Detroit Red Wings organization, and him, Chris Draper, and Joey Kosher had the bobbleheads, and they were doing that viral TikTok trend where you bob your head.
Yeah,
bob your head.
I was kind of mad though. They did the wrong song.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one whatsoever.
Yeah, that part upset me because they're deserving of the right song, but it was legendary.
Yeah, do it with the bobblehead. I thought that was hilarious. So,
April 5th, you can go get a D-Mac bobblehead. Make sure you guys do it.
Yeah, do it for our boy D-Mac. D-Mac would want you to get that bobblehead.
That and dude, we're Woodward Sports. We're out all the time. We're partying. It's half the reason why my voice is gone. You're going to meet D-Mac in person. You come to some of our events, have him sign it.
What would you say about D-Mac that you would think that the average person doesn't know about him? Just about who his personality or who he is.
He is truly one of the most passionate people I've ever met in my life.
And it doesn't matter what it is, wrestling, here at Woodward Sports, he puts his 110% into it no matter what. Yeah,
and one of the reasons I say that too is for him to barely know me and do some of the things he's done for me or advice he's offered me, and dude, he's the man. In the group chat, remember I was looking for an athletic login. Yeah. Guys would text me with the password and log in.
Darren McCarty.
Darren McCarty. He's one of the most genuine human beings ever. He's people think he's crazy. He's not crazy. He's just super, super passionate. Like, passionate enough to where it comes out is crazy.
Yeah.
We all have one of those girlfriends, right?
Yeah. Did he give you the right password, though?
All right. I'm just saying he tried, all right? That's all that matters.
He tried to get you as well.
I don't think we expected that part.
Well, the best part is you responded with me. It was like, yeah, he gave me the wrong password. But I was like, it was such a nice gesture that I didn't want to rub him the wrong way by saying it was the wrong password.
Yeah, dude. I was going to do that.
Yeah, that story cracked me up. So, easy before we went to break, we were talking a lot about the Lions and what they need to do this offseason. You know, who do they keep? Who do they stay? You know, it's one of the last times that I'm going to want to talk about this. We've already done it enough is, you know, grading Dan Campbell in his first season. So 13-1 his first year. Not obviously, I don't even know if you'd call it underachieving with what happened to this roster this year. A lot of injuries, pieces coming in and out. But after the bye week, he went 3-4-1, which, I mean, you get rid of the first part of the year, like 3-4-1. If you would have been doing that in the first part of the season, like at the time, that would have been competing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and even before that, we had some close games.
Right.
You know, grading him in his first year, it's tough because, like, I do see the Jets and I even see the Jaguars, like, who have the number 1 pick, but they still beat teams like the Bills. They had another big win this year too. Who was it against? The Colts. Sorry, Sawyer, but like, I'm sure their fan bases are feeling the same way. I thought about that this morning. I'm like, we're all hyped about Dan Campbell, thinking like things will be different this year, but like the other teams that are also bad have some wins. They'd be like, dude, we did that this year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering like how much of it is me being biased, but the fact that comes into play that makes me kind of like, I guess, confirm me being confident in Dan Campbell is the fact that the injuries that took place. Yeah. And again, more than just the defensive side of the ball. We had the offensive line go down. You know, our rookie that we drafted to play right tackle, preparing for right tackle his entire offseason, switched to left tackle against freaking Joey Bosa in his first game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he balled out. I don't think Joey Bosa got a single sack. Am I wrong on that one, Flannel Sam?
I don't think so, and it's Nick, by the way.
Yeah,
it was
whatever.
Nick. Yeah.
You know the Bosas all look the same.
I think Nick is better than Joey, so like I have to correct you and make that distinction. My bad.
No, Flannel Sam's right on that. I think Nick is definitely better than Joey. I'm with you on that one, Sam. But no, I mean, if you were to stamp a grade on his head, for me, I guess I'll lead it off to kind of give you an idea of where my head at is. You know, the first part of the season goes into this grade, right? It wasn't very pretty to start the year, so I'm gonna leave it at a B- for Campbell in his first year, given one of all the injuries that happened, and being able to somewhat turn around, I guess you could say it was, even though you were winless going into that bye week. So, yeah, I mean, you have to give credit to some degree of what he did the last part of the season or after the bye week, but same time, too, you can't discredit what happened in the first part of the season.
Yeah, I'd probably say C+. Just because, like, it gives the second worst record in the league. So, like, C+, it works for me. But, yeah, the injuries, what did it for me. And the fact that, like, he showed true leadership throughout all, like, the turmoil, too, because you had Anthony Lynn, who was clearly out of this organization by week 7. He held that stayed, like, under wraps and, like, wasn't going crazy. I said on the show yesterday, you had the New York Giants where their offensive line coaches are literally fist fighting. Like, if we didn't have that scenario go down with Anthony Lynn firing, you had him rely on a guy like Ben Johnson who's kind of unproven, right? But with his leadership and delegation, he's able to rely on a guy like Ben Johnson to help develop his play calling and I guess the offense for the organization, and Jared Goff as well. So I love it, what we got going moving forward. I think Dan Campbell, I think Stick kept bringing it up because his favorite player all the time is Chris Spielman. And he fits that mold as well. And the leadership that on top of it, like, future's looking bright, man. Who do you think's going to fill in that offensive coordinator position, though?
I don't know. That's I honestly think they keep it in-house with Ben Johnson. I said this on my podcast, the Going to Work podcast that we record on Sunday nights. I don't, you know, he was a crucial part in, you know, kind of getting Amon-Ra and St. Brown and you know, they kind of moved him up into the passing coordinator, and that's why you saw the passing game somewhat come to life at the later half in the season. And that's where some of the credit to Dan Campbell goes is, you know, relieving a guy like Anthony Lynn, who was a head coach last season, relieving him of his duties to be an offensive coordinator in your first year as a head coach. Like, that's leadership. I think Adam actually said that on the morning show the other day, and like that's true leadership, and that should leave you hopeful. Like that takes guts to do. Like I mean, that would be like you coming in to one of these live show and you know, relieving Neil, telling Neil, hey Neil, we're gonna let you go, dude.
We're good now, bro.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and the thing too is like letting guys, like, to find the people who are able to do that you could trust to do that job is a part of it too. And I don't know if that's Dan Campbell all day, because I remember when he was talking about hiring all these guys, he was the one making the calls on the staff he wanted to bring on, not Holmes. So like the eye for that talent as well. You know, he kept Frank Ailey, who was, you know, part of the old regime. He could have been gone. It could have been easy to tell him bye-bye, because Matt Patricia, everything he had to offer here was boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? But he saw potential in him, kept him. Obviously, that paid dividends. Other pieces brought in with the defensive side of the football, too. Like, to run a successful organization, and I believe this is the quote you're talking about that Adam said the other day, was you got to let people who are good at their job do their job.
Yeah.
You know, and he does that. He even allows guys who are kind of unproven, but he sees some promise in, do their freaking job. You know, at least allow them the opportunity to prove themselves. And Ben Johnson did that, and I think he may be the next offensive coordinator of this team, if not, again, probably like the passing coordinator or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and too, like, we saw it all year long too. They stayed the course of, you know, I don't know, maybe you don't really call it their ideology, but, you know, they stayed to their guns. You know, we saw what happened with Tyrell Williams, and I get he was injured, but you saw it with Perriman. You know, they let him go very early in the season because they weren't getting, you know, the performance out of him.
Yeah.
You weren't getting the performance out of Anthony Lynn, like a coach, and you moved on from him. Like, you moved, like, that's what I like most about, you know, the Campbell scene is if something's not working, and they're only doing a small sample size, like, you see something's going to work or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
One or two ways. You can't keep trying to force it down the throat because you don't want to be embarrassed for making a bad hire. And like, a lot of people could look at it like, oh, like, that was one of the big discussions. Like, you brought Anthony Lynn in to be offensive coordinator and that's already not working out. Like, what does that say about who you're already hiring? But he already had, like I said, he already had the balls to step up and remove him from that role in his first season.
No, 1,000%. And Brad Holmes touched that too in his press conference the other day. Was like, you know, expect this offseason to look similar to next year's, because we're looking for guys who fit. We're looking for guys who fit what we want to do, and that kind of speaks to Bashard Perriman that we saw him get picked up by the Tampa Bay Bucks and stuff like that. But like, you can have talent, but we're in a rebuilding situation where we need guys who have grit, who understands the rebuilding situation, who want to prove themselves. The chips on the shoulders, the kneecap biting mentality, brother.
I mean, it's weird, the feeling. I was worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was worried the first part of the season with Campbell a bit, especially when he took over for his play calling. It was a little sus. It was definitely some sus.
It definitely started sus, bro. It definitely started sus. But that's where, again, like, relying on Ben Johnson, and I mean, I love it, man.
Yeah. My guess too is, like, I know this may be asinine to say, but, you know, does he go to a guy like Aaron Glenn a little bit too and try to get, you know, what can we do from an offensive unit to confuse the defense a little bit? I think Aaron Glenn's a very smart individual within this organization, which is why you already saw Denver want to interview him for their head coaching position.
So I don't know if I was on the show with you when this came up, but Aubrey Pleasant, our defensive backs coach, it was the passing game coordinator this year. So I think they're already kind of like on to something like that. Unless passing game coordinator can translate to the defensive side of the ball as well. But I think they are doing something like that, honestly.
Well, too, if you know what the defense is thinking, you know where to go with your offense, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know defense is reactionary to what the offense is doing, but if you can get inside the defense's head, then boom, you're winning.
That's so funny because last night, obviously, I'm a little banged up. I'm trying to get some rest, but I end up watching Cobra Kai. And the Miyagi-Do's learning the Cobra Kai's do. Kind of the same thing they got going on there.
I've never actually watched that show, so.
You'll get stuck. It's a great show.
That's what Even Stick says. So it's one of the best shows out there.
Dude,
check it out.
It's the cheesiest, corniest thing, but it's like.
That's kind of how the movie was, though, for
Dude, don't disrespect Maz's time, bro.
Yeah.
No, but like it's like it's like Taco Bell. You know it's bad for you. You know it's not like the greatest, but it's like this is good enough. I like it.
But
it's the spot.
It's good for you at a certain time.
Yes.
When you've had a little bit too much gypsy vodka.
Ooh. Okay. Do I got Gypsy vodka?
No, there's no read right now. I just want to. Gypsy.
Okay.
I just had to throw in the fact that Taco Bell is meant to be when you're drinking. That was the only point.
That's why I got the 5th meal.
Yeah. That was a good setup, though. You like that?
It is. Now, we need Taco Bell's a sponsor. Y'all don't get that stuff for free, man. Hit my line.
But no, you still haven't given us a grade for Dan Campbell yet.
That's a C+.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I don't know what I was paying attention to.
He did good. Actually, I might have to go D+.
Oh, whoa, sir.
Hey, if I'm a teacher, brother, I gotta be honest. It's a failing grade with the 2nd worst record in the league. D+.
Yeah, but it was always going to be a losing record.
C-. You happy?
You got to make up your mind here.
Are you happy? C-.
No, I want to see.
You want to do some extra credit?
Yeah.
You got to do down-ups during training camp.
You don't think
I'll bring you up to C.
Well, I mean, that might have not had nothing to do with Dan Campbell, but it played a role. As I say, the Calvin thing could have been the extra credit you needed.
You get to C.
Yeah. All right, there you go. All right, we got to take a quick break. But before we do, I got to talk to you guys about my friends over at MyBookie. MyBookie is the best place to gamble. It just is. There's no doubts about it. Pistons are playing tonight. I'm going to throw a little money on those Pistons. Bol Bol's in the lineup tonight for the first time. Well, I don't know if he's actually going to play or not, but Bol Bol's playing, so I like the Pistons' chances tonight. Head over to mybookie.ag. Sign up with the code Woodward MyBookie will match up to 50% of your deposits. Free money? Who doesn't like free money? I love free money. Show me the money. Head over to mybookie.ag. Use promo code Woodward and get 50% up to your deposits. Do it now. This is Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach filling in for my guy Neil Rule. We got Easy over to my left filling in for 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty. I know the chat's getting on me. I meant to say I'm betting on the Red Wings tonight, not the Pistons. Pistons play tomorrow night. So thank you for correcting me on that. But make sure when you're listening to us, if you can't do it through YouTube or Twitter where this is streamed live, make sure you head over to 99.1 FM or 93.5 FM. The Roar. You can hear us on the radio, baby. We're on the Roar. Sawyer, let me get a roar out of you.
Roar!
That's a good roar. Or you can head over to 94.7 HD2 and listen to us over there as well. Make sure you follow Woodward Sports on all of our socials as we're doing funny stuff all the time. You could have seen Easy in a nice leather vest the other day with them boobies hanging out. So
it's on OnlyFans.
But before we went to break, we were, giving grades to Dan Campbell, and I wanted to get to Sawyer and Sam real quick because I know you guys are both football guys. Where did you guys kind of rank Dan Campbell for his first year as head coach?
I'm in the C- D+ range. So I like the culture he's building, but 13 losses, 1 tie, 3 wins. So that is the reality of it. But culture's really good, so that's exciting. So I'm the D+, C- range, probably like right in the middle. But it's an optimistic C-, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you get it's like when the teacher gives you if you get a 69.8% in the class, and then they round you up to get you a C-, so you don't have to retake the class.
And they pull you over and they're like, hey, just want to let you know, you tried your best, but you suck. Yeah. But you're getting better, okay? So just keep working.
Yeah, and then the teacher,
it's good.
Yeah, then you actually I didn't really try, but thank you.
There's a little hope, you know what I mean? There's some hope.
Hope and a prayer. Sam, what do you got? What would you grade Dan Campbell in year one?
I would give him a solid C. It was looking really rough at the beginning, like you guys said, and I was not a believer at all. But one thing that I liked about him was that it was his decision to make Anthony Lynn relieve him of his play calling duties, and when he brought in Ben Johnson, you saw the offense. You saw Amon-Ra St. Brown. You saw Jared Goff really take off, and I believe he had his fingerprints in that, and he's building a strong culture. He's obviously a good leader. I mean, I'm not completely sold, but I'll give him a C for this year.
I must be like the gym teacher or something who, it doesn't have the toughest grading scale in the entire world. Everyone's coming in at D+, C-. I give a B-.
Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, you might just be the biggest slappy out of everybody in the room.
I could be. I mean, I love the Lions. I love Detroit sports, and I'm always a half glass full type of guy. As people get to know me more and more, I'm always looking for the positives. Like, feed me the positives. Block bad, harness good. Good old Happy Gilmore reference. So I'm a half glass full type guy. I always look for the positives, and for me, making the necessary cuts throughout the season, relieving Anthony Lynn of his duties, and ultimately moving on from there. That shows you didn't stay by your guns. Like we saw that with Bob Quinn, and he lived and died by Matt Patricia. I think if maybe this may be a bold take here, but if Quinn would have fired Patricia on his own, maybe could have saved his job. I don't know, maybe not based on past draft experience, but at the end of the day, make the decision that's right in the moment, and Dan Campbell did that. So, looking at the GM position now too is you look at what the draft class did for this Lions organization this year, and looking back through the past years, maybe going back to 2012, would you say this is the best draft class that the Lions have had in over 10 years?
This was this is the fun part of the homework I did last night before diving into Cobra Kai. No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah, because it was fun because you got to reminisce of some of the players we took. Some of the ones you just remember your takes on it back in the day. Like Alex Carter was a cornerback in the past decade. We took that I thought was going to be sick. I'm like, dude, I get so hyped for 6 foot cornerbacks. I'm just yeah, Richard Sherman. I just think it every time, but it's never the case. But no, it's not purely because of 2013's draft class. And let me give you some names, if I may. Ezekiel Anza, right? Good.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
Darius Slay.
Not here anymore. Well, Darius Slay, okay. I miss Slay. That's one name I'd say I actually miss.
Larry Warford, who after he left here went on, he was still a starter for the New Orleans Saints, and they were obviously going to NFC championships, went division, stuff like that. Saints are a good organization, right? Devin Taylor. Now, he was sweet when he was here. After I think he went to the Giants, kind of fell through. I think he's still here locally, too. I think you know what? I think he's at the they have the sponsorship with the Bottom Line, Suburban Cadillac.
You mean Les Stanford Chevrolet?
Yeah, Les Stanford. Suburban,
I got you.
You owe me $50 for that. Sam Martin, one of the better punters in the league for a minute there.
Over in Denver now.
Yep. Michael Williams, which he wasn't too much here, but eventually got traded to the Pats. Remember, he was the Alabama tight end he became one of the starting tackles, and obviously the Pats are the Pats. And then Theo Riddick was in the draft class as well.
Yeah, but
those are bangers, bro. See?
Bangers?
Look, those are bangers.
Where's Ziggy at? When's the last time you heard his name on a defense?
Ziggy was getting Ziggy when he was here.
When he was here?
Okay.
Talk about for the Lions organization. Go up and down this board. The Lions draft picks this past year. Sewell, Onwuzurike, McNeil, Melifonwu, St. Brown, Derek Barnes, Jamar Jefferson.
That's 1 year. And we're keeping it a buck with Aleem and Levi.
I mean, those guys still contributed in their first year.
So, all right. So, Anza, who's the equivalent in this year's class?
Sewell.
Okay. I'm cool with that. All right. Slay. Who's the equivalent? A Pro Bowler.
St. Brown.
He could maybe be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, you got to think about that.
Do I let that one slide?
I think St. Brown definitely has the chance to be as good for the Lions as Darius Slay was, especially since his rookie year. He had over 900 yards. It was amazing.
Yeah, people don't forget about Darius Slay's first couple years here in Detroit. Darius Slay was kind of a liability in coverage. Did he come out? He reminds me
his
of
first year. His rookie year.
He was a lot like Amon-Ra. You saw the potential there.
What's his last name?
Owarrior.
There we go.
Shout out our boy Gus Johnson. But you got more production out of St. Brown the first year than you did Darius Slay. And I don't see St. Brown's production slowing down. Do you?
Okay. We're 2 for 2. I'll give you that. Larry Warford.
I got to find my list. Hang on 1 second.
All right.
But Larry Warford, do you really remember him when he was here in Detroit, though?
Yeah. He was a damn good guard.
And why isn't he still here?
Because he signed with New Orleans Saints. He was a damn good guard for them, too.
All right, I'll say Derek Barnes.
All right, Sam.
I think Derek Barnes. I don't know if he's going to be as good as Larry Warford, but Larry Warford wasn't great here. He became better once he left and went to the Saints.
He was good.
He was okay.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah.
He just hadn't lived up to his potential.
He's an NFL starter, which Barnes, I'm going to give you that one. All right, cool. Devin Taylor, this is a fringe one for me because obviously he didn't last long in the league, but I think he did make 2 contracts with us, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I would take Melifonwu.
Fair.
And Melifonwu's way better than him.
Whoa. Chill. 1 year, he didn't play a whole season. Come on.
Who, Melifonwu?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in a small sample size, there's no denying what he was doing on the outside for most of the year. Yeah, there's a few times he got burned, but as a rookie, that's expected. But like I said with the Darius Slay, you saw the potential. You see that with Melifonwu.
I'm looking at, I just want to pull up Devin Taylor's stats. 15 career sacks, 7 in 2015, which...
What about his rookie year, though?
His rookie year, 2.5 sacks. 2 starts in 14 games. Now, Melifonwu had some starts, but that's due to injury. This could be due to injury as well, though.
Right.
I will say that.
Yeah, so we have to look up the facts. But for me,
all right,
up and down the board, I mean, you even have to talk about some of these undrafted free agents, too. I think would you consider that part of the draft class?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, technical terms, no, but...
I would, because
you still... For the sake of winning this argument, no, Nick. Screw you. All right?
I would still say they are, because you have to go out there and get those guys, and, they're free agents. They're rookies. So
I want to continue this conversation, but I just want also some breaking news. The Bol Bol trade fell through. Didn't go through.
Really?
Yep. I don't have the details yet. Hopefully the chat will fill us up or fill us in on that one. But let's continue this argument while we find those details. And chat, too. Let me know if Devin Taylor is Melifonwu, if I let that one slide.
If I'm being 100% completely honest with you, 100% honesty here, don't remember Devin Taylor here.
Well, you're a Feyweather fan, all right? He was sweet. I liked him. Dude, he was like 6'7". He was the tallest guy in the field. Played defensive end.
Obviously, he didn't leave a big enough impression.
Dreads. All right, whatever.
All I'm saying is I don't remember the last draft class that you saw in their first year. And I get this is only their first year being here, that you've seen this type of level contributions. Like you said, a lot of it has to do with probably injury. But
Larry Warford, 2-time Pro Bowler. Just had to put that in. Chat. Shout out to chat. Shout out to Reese.
Yeah, but was he a Pro Bowler here in Detroit?
Yes.
Was
Twice
he?
as a Lion, yeah.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, I'll take the L on that one.
Sam, you want to fact check that?
Yeah, let me fact check that really quick. But I believe you, but I'll fact check it.
Shout out to D. Reese. Bol Bol failed his physical was the update on that one. That hurts my soul. I got some more names on this list.
All right, let's hear it.
So what are we, 4 for 4 right now?
Yep.
Like a Wendy's meal? 4 for 4?
Yes, like Stephen Baker said, we're talking rookie year here.
Yeah. Okay. You think Barnes would be a Pro Bowler like Warford was, though?
Was Warford a Pro Bowler his rookie season?
He might have been, dude. He was pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
I do actually remember Warford being there. Warford was solid.
I followed him on Twitter. I think his handle was Big Daddy Warford. I'll never forget. I was like,
shout out Larry.
Dope.
Sam's got a correction here.
Larry Warford was not a Pro Bowler in Detroit. He didn't make a Pro Bowl till he went to New Orleans.
Oh, Reese.
Yeah, see, now your argument's collapsing in on yourself. All right, continue argument there, easy.
That's no good. He's still a Pro Bowler. All right. Sam Martin. Punter. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, we just signed Riley Patterson, free agent.
Draft class, Nick.
Undrafted free agent.
Draft class, Nick.
Undrafted rookie.
Undrafted. Draft class, Nick.
Hey, I'm saying...
You got the list. Draft class, Nick.
All I'm saying, that's part of... To me, that's part of the draft class. If you're getting contribution from guys that are rookies, first time in the NFL, who are already making contributions more so than guys that were actually drafted, that draft class is winning for this year.
Can I get the camera real quick? Sorry, just 1 point. Gryffindor. All right, 5-4. You got nothing for Sam Martin. Theo Riddick.
Aleem McNeil.
No. Come on. Theo was nice for us, man. Don't disrespect him like that.
What is nice versus
Dude, actually... he was the third down GOAT. He saved a lot of games for us.
A lot of games that we lost?
No, we won.
Sawyer's got something for us.
Did he ever have an over 100-yard rushing game? Because I know that was a streak for a while. That no lines running back did that for like 5 years.
No,
Boom.
not at all.
Point Slytherin.
No point Slytherin. No one likes Slytherin. Don't be a bad guy.
Theo Riddick's best strength, though, was as a receiver out of the backfield.
Yes.
I would say that he was a very, very good 6th-round pick. He was a good 6th-round pick, but that doesn't really... He wasn't a star, definitely not.
Yeah, but there's no denying that. I mean, we saw Jamar Jefferson come in against the Steelers the one game and housed one from 35, 40 yards out. Granted, he got his ankle rolled over too, but we didn't get to really see the full sample size his rookie year.
So I saw you put up a sign. Do we gotta pay some bills?
I'm gonna have to tell you guys about something real quick. I gotta tell you guys about this really cool place I found called the Folding Warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
It's right in Hamtramck. I mean, it's amazing. They have 2 full bars, 2 mystery beer machines, all the fun you could ever want, really. Like, I've hit the mystery beer machine twice, got myself a PBR and an Old Milwaukee. Our very own Braylon Edwards hit it up as well. He got himself a Colt 45, so that is 3 hits out of 3 attempts. So I'm assuming the next time you go, it's going to be 4 for 4. You're going to get a banger again for your 4th mystery beer, my 4th mystery beer. And I'm just going to keep on going. The game was created at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a very special place to me. I love going down there. The owner is wandering around the warehouse anytime. He teaches you how to play, tells you all about it. I mean, it's just a great time. You can show up, pay $10, play unlimited by yourself or with friends, or you can rent a lane privately and play that way. So we had our company party there for Christmas. You can do family reunions there. I celebrated my dad's birthday there a few weeks ago. So it's just a great time. 2 full bars, over 100 beers. You can bring your food in, or you can order food off Uber Eats or DoorDash. We know Joik really likes to do that and surprise us all with food here in the office. So you can have food brought into the Folding Warehouse as well. I mean, it's just a great time. You guys really need to go check it out. Football season's over now, so you can watch the playoffs while whipping some footballs at Penn's and just beating your family at some games. I mean,
whoa,
what else would you want to do? It's a great time. So go to thefoldingwarehouse.com or go to the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy. We got Leach and Easy on the desk today filling in for the usual suspects. We got Sam in the audio booth controlling those levels, making us sound pretty, and I'm just pressing my one button. We'll be right back.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joik.
It's Woodward Sports.
We are back on Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for the legendary Neil Rule, who's out with his Oakland Grizzlies, chasing those Grizzly Bears around, making sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. We got Easy filling in for fourth-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty, like my boy Sawyer in the TD booths. We got Sam over on the buttons, making us sound good and crispy. Easy. Before we went to break there, obviously we were doing our debate about the Lions draft classes. And then we got some breaking news when that happened as well. And that was the Bol Bol trade falling through for the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, we're still trying to get some details on that. It sounds like he failed his physical. And if I were to sit up here and say I was shocked, I am not.
And to toss it up to the people real quick before we talk about Bol Bol, there's a poll in the chat. All right. Which draft class would you rather have, 2021 or 2013s? I don't know which one you'd rather have, which one's better. I don't know, because we're moving on. Bol Bol, though. I got to do some digging, some research on that one, because that was breaking news.
So I got it up here right now by the Denver Post. It said 3 days after Nuggets agreed to trade Bol Bol to Detroit, the deal is off, a league source told the Denver Post. The Pistons had an issue with Bol's physical and reneged on the trade, which would have sent Roddy McGruder and a late second-round pick to Denver. The Nuggets announced the trade in a release on Monday. Bol had foot surgery in his lone season at Oregon, but hasn't had injury trouble since joining the Nuggets in 2019. So obviously this is I wouldn't say necessarily a big deal, but this is definitely something that it's news. It's breaking news here while we're live on the show. And A lot of people were somewhat excited about this trade for whatever reason. They thought he was going to kind of give us the height and what we needed in the front court for the Pistons, which to me, Bol Bol was not going to be a difference maker here in Detroit.
I mean, it was yet to be determined. Obviously, with the injury coming into play, sounds like he wouldn't have. It sucks. Everyone's hyped about Chet. Bol Bol is what you wanted to see in Chet if he becomes a Piston or whoever you are in the United States or whoever you root for. But it is what it is, man. I'm not going to be too down about it because, like you, I'm more of a glass half full guy. It sucks, though. If I was a glass half empty, I'd be butthurt. Yeah. Not going to lie.
And there's reasons, right? There's reasons why you trade Bol Bol for Rodney McGruder and a second-round draft pick is Bol Bol played 9 games at Oregon in his only season. He was drafted in the second round. I think 44th overall was the number. And to me, it's not like it was going to be – he wasn't really going to come in here and make a difference I don't know. There's a lot of people talking on Twitter and social media. They were so excited. The best thing that came out of this whole trade speculation was a meme that I saw and said the Pistons front court can be referred to now as a bowl of beef stew. That was the best thing I saw out of this entire thing.
That is hands down the most disappointing part of this because we already lost our French Revolution cool nickname, and then there's that one, a bowl of beef stew. But you know what? Rodney McGruder is still getting traded. There's no way you just come back to the team. You're like, welcome back. Sorry,
guys,
we just tried getting rid of you. That's got to be awkward. So, I don't know. Do you think he stays? Do you think he gets traded?
There's got to be some, I don't know. Well, at the same time, too, you're going to a winning organization. You weren't playing here on a team that's not very good to begin with. So, I don't know what your feelings are, to be completely honest to you. If I put my feet, if I were to put myself in that position, yeah, just send me somewhere else, dude. Clearly, you guys don't want me, so send me somewhere else, or just. But at the same time, too, you have a contract too, so you don't want to get waived or cut out of that contract.
Yeah, and another thing too, trade value is now they kind of know we have to get rid of him, so it's we're calling up a team hey, you want this guy? It's dude, you're gonna have to cut him or something because he ain't staying with you.
Yeah, or you send him down to the G League and call up a guy like Derek Walton, who's been balling down there, friend of the program. So I don't know. I don't know what you do with McGruder at this point. Like I said, he wasn't playing. I don't even know how much Bol Bol was honestly going to really play.
Do you think he gets cut?
Who?
Bol Bol? And then maybe we could sign him free agent?
Well, no, because even when you sign a guy as a free agent, you're still going to do a physical or something like that. And if you can't pass the physical, you're not going to get a contract. I think that was the same reason why Doug Baldwin had to retire in Seattle, is he couldn't pass the physical.
Oh, the receiver.
Yeah.
I'm who the fuck is that guy?
So to me, it's people were excited about this, and now I guess we don't really have to. We had a whole segment designated to this, and I didn't have much expectations for him to begin with. Now, do I think he could have helped a little bit with some hype down low? Yeah, Isaiah Stewart's not the biggest center in the world. And we've seen this team struggle a lot with Kelly Olynyk going out. So to me, it's I don't even know what to make of it. I don't really have any feelings towards it. It's I guess we're happy we get the second round draft pick back. That's what I take out of it.
Yeah, I guess moving on from the trade, because obviously it's not a thing anymore.
Right.
You do have the plus side of Kelly Olynyk eventually coming back. I think here sooner rather than later. So. And I think that's the plan of this team. Obviously, with the Bol Bol trade and the signing of Kelly Olynyk, they showed you they want to stretch 5, or at least a 4 that could spread the floor and shoot threes. So I guess there's that in it, right? We know what to try to build with this team and with this roster is they want to spread the floor. That's a thing. That's really it. It really sucks this happened, but it is what it is, man. I still want to stretch 5 though. My mind's running.
Yeah, you're going to have to get that position too, and that's where I think you're going to be able to address it in the draft. Hopefully, obviously, with the lottery, we had some luck last year, but besides last year, the lottery has not been the nicest to the Pistons, and there are pieces. There is a Chet Holmgren there. There is a Jabari Smith out of Auburn. There are pieces there that you can, utilize for that. So I think they were. I don't know. I don't even know if you were looking for a Band-Aid this year. Like I said, he's only played 53 games since being drafted in 2019.
And clearly we found a reason as to why. Twitter had a whole thing. I don't know if you remember. It was like free Bol Bol because he went dumb in the preseason before. Like everyone was like, God damn, like that. Everyone passed up on that, and then he goes on to his NBA career. This guy's averaging less than 5 minutes a game, and now we know why. He never recovered fully from that foot injury, it sounds like.
Well, and again, that's just speculation, too. We don't know if necessarily the foot injury is what derailed that physical from happening, but, that's why.
Maybe he wouldn't cough 2 times.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you do these things.
Yeah, the doctor, he's like, I don't.
But I will be interested to see if Troy Weaver doesn't try to make another move. Clearly, he's not a guy that, when he gets things moving, he likes to do something that makes sense. Obviously, the Jeremy Grant situation is been in a lot of talks. I'm for the Jeremy Grant trade happening, but they have to do something. I was really shocked to see the team almost regress this year. At least last year they were playing a lot of competitive games and competing night in and night out, but we're watching them get blown out by 30, 40 points some nights now, which, yeah, you might have saw once or twice last season, but they're a lot. I think the Pistons had the most losses last season by single digits.
Yeah, I was very, very discouraged by that, and I'm grateful that we had the opportunity to sit up on this desk a couple weeks back for the bottom line because we got to interview one of the Detroit Pistons beat writers, the swaggiest of them all, by the way, and James Edwards III, and he kind of refreshed in my mind that this team, the starting lineup at least, hasn't really played a lot of games together.
Right.
And that could be a reason why also everybody's young. Everyone's young as hell. And I said this as my argument earlier, and I don't want to discredit it. I mean, the clip going to do well anyway, you know what I'm saying? But the veteran leadership thing, we kind of do have some veterans, though. Corey Joseph, Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant was on a successful Nuggets team before he left. Corey Joseph has seen some time with the Pacers. I mean, I don't know. What do you think the haul is for Jeremy Grant, though? What do you think we get back for him?
I say at minimum at least a first-round draft pick. If you get a team that's desperate, if one of these teams lose a guy that has a star that goes down with injury, then you should be looking at maybe even getting 2 first-round draft picks. I do think Jeremy Grant could be a huge piece to a deep playoff run for one of these teams. I think the Lakers would love to have a guy like that. Obviously, they can't make that trade because they don't have any first-round draft picks till 2025 after the Anthony Davis trade. So I think, like I said, 2 first-round draft picks is probably definitely a stretch, but at least 1 and some veteran players to come back with that. And I don't know who you look at. I mean, 76ers, rumors are now they're shopping Ben Simmons along with Tobias Harris. I don't know if you look to that. Granted, I don't care for Ben Simmons at all. Tobias Harris is a guy, though, veteran player now in the league. He spent some time here with the Pistons. I liked him when he was here. Can you get Tobias Harris without giving up Ben Simmons? Or can you get Tobias Harris without having to bring Ben Simmons with you? Again, that's $80 million in cap space that is coming in that 2-person type trade deal. So I don't see that happen, but they're willing to shop Tobias Harris. I mean, maybe you flip-flop it with Jeremy Grant. I don't know.
I think that'd be a better fit. Tobias is a guy, he stretch the floor, stand in the corner. K could toss the ball up to him to shoot some threes consistently. He's got some size on him. He can play the 4. What do you think, Sam?
About Tobias Harris?
Yeah, or just the Jeremy Grant trade in general. What are you expecting to get back from him?
So I don't think we can get back a Tobias Harris for a Jeremy Grant. But Jeremy Grant, he can be a really good piece on a team that's ready to win, like Nick said. Like he kind of was for Denver, but he's not a number 1. But if there's an injury, if just an injury, if somebody can't play, if they're missing, if a playoff team is missing a key piece, maybe a first-round pick, a first round, and a bench guy. But yeah, I think a Jeremy Grant trade is necessary.
Yeah, I agree too. I love Jeremy Grant. I love what he's contributed in his short time of being here as a Piston. He definitely became a quick fan favorite for everybody. Like you said, he bet on himself, and he should be at least celebrated.
Yeah, and speaking of celebrating, you guys, there's a reason why my voice is like this. All right, the Detroit Lions closed out the season with a win over a divisional opponent, the Green Bay Packers, and me. My girl Maddie from the morning show, we're turning up. Turning up a little bit of gypsy vodka. That's right, we had the tin roof and the brass rail back and forth with it. We're going hard, man. We turning up. It is distilled 6 times. How many? 6 times. How many? 6 times. I was trying to do a Booker T, the wrestling reference. Anyway, 6 times, distilled 6 times with artesian spring water. Gypsy vodka, 50 different formulas. Try it out.
I'm Cade Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
We are back here on Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. To my left, got my boy Easy filling in for Darren McCarty.
Yes, sir.
Easy.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat says you sound like Doc Rivers.
I saw that. I saw another one too. I don't know, man. Sorry, I don't know if you're an Eminem fan, but someone said Kenneth.
Yeah.
You gotta remember Kenneth. That was my favorite one so far.
Yeah.
I don't know who you guys sound like. I'll try to impersonate him. What does Doc Rivers say?
It's
shoot, Ben! Damn it!
Yeah, my man Matt Carrier in the chat said Ben Thimmons, stay out of Detroit. So I love that one. Shout out to our boys over at Guardian Alarm. But my man Daniel Gray too said, I'll take Simmons for his defense. Dude just needs a change of location. So that could be true too. I'm not ruling that out. But you know, it's for me, it's the personality factor in it all. Is you know, Detroit's not known for the divas or anything like that, and Ben Simmons. There's a more off the court that I think comes with Ben Simmons, and you know, can he change that up if he got to change a location? Maybe. But is it worth taking the risk? I mean, we've heard the haul that the 76ers went back in for Ben Simmons, and I don't think any organization is going to give that up, which is why you haven't seen him traded yet.
Yeah, as Doc Rivers, the coach of this team, I just think this guy plays like boo. No, I'm good. Now that we have Ben Simmons and Killian, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, good defense. Doesn't really shoot. You know, pass the ball well. I'm good. I'd rather have the cheaper version of Ben Simmons than actual Ben Simmons.
Right, yeah. Guy's on a max contract deal just to pass the ball and play some defense.
Yeah, I'm good.
Although I will say defense is definitely I miss defense in the NBA. Shout out to the best five alive, the Golden State Pistons. But
yes, sir.
I did want to shift the talks off basketball a little bit easy and just talk about the big news that came out of the Red Wings yesterday, and that was one of the Lord and Saviors, Nick Lidstrom, back with the Red Wings organization, VP of Hockey Operations, and this is easy. This gets me going. I'm a big Red Wings fan. A lot of people know I love the Red Wings. You know, what he did, Sawyer's got the quote up there on the screen. It said, "It's been on my mind for a little bit of time. I wanted to get back and get involved with the hockey again, especially with the Red Wings. And when the opportunity presented itself, I thought it was a good time for me and my family. So I'm really excited." So that was a quote right from Nick Lidstrom. And big part too, he's not coming here in Detroit. He's actually staying over in Sweden where he's at, which to me that works out well. We have a lot of Swedish prospects over there, especially with the big one with Simon Edvinsson, who we just took out of last year's draft. Big Swede defenseman. And for us, you know, having a guy like Mo Seider here, having Edvinsson, another big defenseman, when you get arguably, now I said arguably, the best defenseman of all time getting involved with your organization, when you get Stevie Y, when you got Draper, who's already been part of the organization and part of the front office, like, the Red Wings are forming a juggernaut, an absolute juggernaut of a front office, of some of the best players to ever play the game to learn from. I mean, could you imagine being Mo Seider, a 19, 20-year-old kid, and you get to go ask advice willingly from Nick Lidstrom, call him up? Simon Edvinsson, you know, who you expect to be a big part of this Red Wings organization in the near future. Hopefully he makes the jump kind of like Seider did. You know, you go play 1 year in the AHL and then come up and contribute in big ways. For me, this is another stamp on this rebuild going nuclear. To me, I'd say that it's going nuclear with that addition of Nick Lidstrom, people are like, oh, it's just a front office guy. It does not matter. We've seen what Stevie Y has done in a short time here as a general manager. Adding Nick Lidstrom to this front office is just as big.
Noted. And these are some of the tweets. I can't read them actually because the TV's turned sideways for me.
So my man James Valeno, great follow for Red Wings hockey on there, says this literally is the perfect news ever to wake up to. Welcome back, Nick Lidstrom. My boy Andy said Stevie Y is going dynasty building. So damn excited for this team's future. Brad, this is the best one out of them all. I'm twisting my captaincy nipples if we can roll Zetterberg into a front office position as well.
Oh my!
So you got 3 of the last 4, or well, yeah, you could say that 3 of the last 4 captains of the Detroit Red Wings part of the organization right now with Steve Yzerman. Then you have Lidstrom back now as well. Zetterberg still, doing Zetterberg things in his retirement right now, and then obviously Dylan Larkin, the captain of the Red Wings too. So for me, it's just a lot of positive things. Like you look at Stevie Y and it's like he's doing a lot of good things, and like he sits there and says, yeah, watch this. Like he just continued, like what's he gonna do next? Do you bring in Dominik Hasek, part of your front office? And you got Sebastian Cossa, the huge goalie that you just took at 15th overall. Is that a name you bring in and let him coach up that? I to me it's just like how much better, like as a Red Wings fan, like how much better can this get for us?
Yeah, and is the value in that like the prestige of Nick Lidstrom and like what he brings, and like I guess you being proud to wear that winged wheel on your chest? And I mean, I'm kind of glad we're having this conversation because you're the first one to point out the value in it, because I get it's Nick Lidstrom, and I just thought of it as more as like a prestige thing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're here, we all got your back. But I was also like questioning like, what does he bring that we could truly be excited for? I'm not trying to like downplay it or anything like that. I'm just like questioning it or just trying to find the value in it. And you actually made a good point with the defenseman and being able to call him up and get the advice from him. But like, what else do you see him bringing that like would excite you? Is it? Do you think the hype around it truly is the prestige though? You know what I'm saying, a little bit.
Well, obviously a lot of it has to do with that prestige, right? But it's the hockey mind. It's a lot of, you'll hear a lot of these former players talk about Nick Lidstrom, and it kind of going back to what I said a little bit ago about Aaron Glenn and that defense is. Nick Lidstrom was always a step or two ahead of everybody. It didn't matter who you were. Like you try to throw the puck in the zone, he'd slap it out of thin air with a stick. Like the hand-eye coordination was there. He was just like, he got the nickname for a reason, the perfect human. He was the perfect guy on ice. And I wish we had D-Mac up here to kind of sit there and tell us more of what this means from a guy that got to play with him. But his hockey mind is just so brilliant. And listening to him, like if you never listen to Nick Lidstrom talk about the game of hockey, it's truly fascinating of how he talks about it. He's a very reserved player. I mean, again, another guy that you got part of this organization too is like Nick Cronwall. And you look at back at all the Red Wings Stanley Cups, and obviously Nick Lidstrom was a big reason why. Is a lot of these teams are a good catalyst, and all these championship teams is a good defenseman. So. For me, Mo Seider has that capability. When Lidstrom came back a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now, he was being interviewed and he goes, Seider is actually better at his age than I even was. So, but now you got the tangibles of Lidstrom of being able to coach him up through his career now, and really present the Red Wings with so much added value that. The ceiling for Seider and Edvinsson and all these young guys now is, and this is going to help guys like Lucas Raymond too, of helping navigate some of the best defensemen in the league. So that's the one sport in hockey that I truly think defenseman is so important that, having a goal scorer is important, but if you can get guys in front, and that's what the Red Wings have struggled with so many years now, is having guys in front of a goalie that, get the puck out of the zone, make the right breakout pass and really set yourself up. Like defensemen, like they navigate a lot of the defense. That's why, why Lidstrom was the captain after Stevie Y left. Like they're the leaders at the helm on the power play and stuff like that. So for me, it was huge news. It was huge news if you're a diehard Red Wings fan. So this is only going to help the future of this team so much more.
Those are great points, man. I'm happy we got to have this conversation because it does put some it does lay the value out for me. Is there any issue with him being in Sweden though? Like, can he offer that same amount of value to Mo Seider and those guys like over the phone versus in person?
Yeah, and trust me, he'll make trips here as well too. But when you're when you have big prospects, like I said, with Edvinsson being over there in Sweden right now, like I'm sure there's going to be a good amount of time, and obviously I don't know how close he is to where Edvinsson's playing at, but being in that same, being able to talk to him and be more or less like a mentor over there. You have your mentors here, like you have Stevie Y here. Like now you get another mentor overseas for your organization, who again was one of the best hockey players of all time. It just goes a long way into making the rookies feel comfortable by the time they get to the NHL level.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday with Neil, and because Larkin's coming up free agency, right? Do you think he takes a little less money to stay now that like I don't know, the way things are coming up together, like here in Detroit, like Lidstrom now joining the organization, obviously Stevie Y, the captain's there in the front chair too, like, and him being a Detroiter, you know what I'm saying, or Metro Detroiter, he's from Waterford, but like, do you think that like would make someone take less money? Because we are the Red Wings, dude. Like we're hockey town. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, what do you expect to happen with that now?
I go back to what Bobby Ryan said last year. Bobby Ryan was free agent signing last season, and he got asked. He goes, "Why do you sign to Detroit?" He goes, "Steve Yzerman picked up the phone and called you. Who are you gonna go play hockey for? One of the best hockey players of all time. Why wouldn't you? You get to learn from one of the best defensemen of all time. What organization sounds a bit more advantageous?"
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's brilliant minds out there in the business world that, work their way into general manager roles. But when you get one of the best hockey players, and Steve Yzerman, that's the GM of the Detroit Red Wings, you saw his work, what he did with Tampa Bay, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. That good? I think so. But when you see that work, what he did on the ice, who are you going to come to? Steve Yzerman picks up the phone. Nick Lidstrom, if you're a defenseman, and that's why I said I still think this team needs a free agent defenseman that you can bring in here who is a veteran, a great veteran. I get Danny DeKeyser's here, but you need something that's a bit next level. Nick Lidstrom picks up the phone and calls a defenseman, like let's say a Brett Burns or somebody like that. He's going to be able to win a guy over than just a normal GM, talking to an agent. So you have that player-to-player relationship, and that goes huge in any sport. I mean, you look at even like what you see here in the media. You see Joy Braylon up there. Like, they have these relationships with guys. I look at Braylon's relationship, Brady Quinn, like being able to bring him on that show because it's a play. They were both players, and it's a player-to-player relationship. Something I'll never have. Something you'll never have. There's a different aspect to it that I won't ever be able to touch, but I at least understand it.
Yeah, and kind of related it back to Detroit is like Dan Campbell and those guys too. Aaron Glenn being considered for head coaching position after 1 year playing, being a defensive coordinator, like he has that player-to-player relation, and obviously it's gone through with him. Aubrey Pleasant, he didn't play pro, but he still played. But no, man, you did your thing, man. You sold me on that. I'm pretty hyped.
It's. I mean, look at what Calvin Johnson did yesterday. I mean, Barry Sanders has been part of the organization. You brought Chris Smealan back. Every sports organization tries to do that with all of their players. You look all around. Tons of leagues. John Lynch, GM of the 49ers now. Like, former players they know talent. They can see it better than we can because they had to coach themselves to some degree. Yeah, I get they had their coaches out there, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like having a player that can work his way into a front office of any organization. That's why I think having Calvin back in the Lions organization would be a big deal.
No. And it makes sense, right? You have to be an athlete to relate to an athlete, but if I wanted to get the body of an athlete, if you wanted to chisel my chest, where would I go,
If you want to get built, if you want to get swole, if you want to go lift things up and put them down, you go over to Planet Fitness. $10 a month, easy, to get you right. You go to Planet Fitness. You get swole. You feel good, mentally and physically. $10 a month, that's all it takes. Or you can get a black card for $22.99 a month. You bring guests. I could bring you. I got a black card. I'd bring you over to Planet Fitness. We get you right. That's why I was trying to catch you on followers on Twitter. I was trying to get that body right. You can join in the club. You go Planet Fitness. You can join up there. Or you go to www.planetfitness.com. Right now, it's $0 down and $10 a month. $0 down. $10 a month. You can find $10 a month in Alex Mayer's car after someone breaks in and takes his coat. Also, Planet Fitness is hiring in all positions. So if you need a job, go out to Planet Fitness. They're hiring. Visit planetfitness.com. Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally. He's going deep. Right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Start your new year with a new network. Woodward Sports Network is here.
We are back here on Big D Energy. I am Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. To my left, I got my boy Easy.
What up, though?
Filling in for Darren McCarty. We got Sawyer in the TV booth. We got Sam on the ones and twos. And Easy, obviously, big rant there about the Red Wings. I want to shift the talks back a little bit to some football.
Okay.
And, a little bit of end of the year awards. That time's coming, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you look around the NFL, gearing up for the playoffs. We'll do a playoff breakdown for everybody tomorrow. It's hard, even in Detroit. Everyone still wants to talk playoffs. I'm watching playoff football all weekend. So we'll do some playoff predictions tomorrow. No doubt about that. So make sure, if you're in the chat right now, hit that like button. Come back tomorrow. We'll be doing some playoff football talk. But I want to get your take on your MVP of the NFL this season. And who do you think is the most deserving of that award?
Honestly, like if we take out the quarterback bias, it's got to be Cooper Kupp. He's a Triple Crown winner. By the way, I'm giving away my Triple Crown baseball thanks to you. But anyway, only the fourth Triple Crown winner in NFL history, leading the league in passing yards, receptions, and touchdowns. Like, that's insane. Only the fourth in history. The first is 2005. It's got to be Cooper Kupp when you take out the quarterback bias. On the books, though, Aaron Rodgers is the favorite. Makes no sense. He's not leading in a single stat category.
Well, you just talked about that Triple Crown effect.
Uh-huh.
Tom Brady won the Triple Crown for passing by quarterbacks.
This year?
Yeah. Touchdowns, passing yards, I believe.
And if I'm betting, that's what I'm putting my money on. I think he's plus 400, by the way, too. Like, for sure, you got to pick the quarterback. It's your safe bet. But who's most deserving? I got to say Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I understand it. I get the Colts aren't in the playoffs. I look at what Jonathan Taylor did this offseason, or this season. And that was remarkable. But when you look at Tom Brady, this guy is 44 years old. This guy is 44 years old and still leading the NFL in passing categories over guys like Aaron Rodgers. And when you see, like, yeah, you have Mike Evans, you had Rob Gronkowski, you had Chris Godwin, and I get you lost some of those guys to injuries. But how can you not look in the mirror and be like, I get it, it's Tom Brady. Everyone's sick about talking about Tom Brady. But Tom Brady has to be the MVP this year, even over Aaron Rodgers. I get it. A-Rod had a great year. You got Devontae Adams. You got the best receiver in football. But like you said, he didn't lead in any of those categories. For me, it's always going to be a QB award, regardless. Take the QB bias out of it. Yeah, then you bring in Jonathan Taylor a little bit more. And if Taylor would have had a better last game of the season, if the Colts didn't lose, I think Taylor's in a bit stronger consideration.
Yeah.
And I get Cooper Kupp almost broke Calvin's record as well, too. But at 44 years old, I mean, you look at a guy like Ben Roethlisberger, how old is he? I think 38, 39. That guy was broken all year long. He's been broken for like 2 years. And you get Tom Brady still playing peak football at that age. Give the man the award.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
100%. Like, that's who it's going to. It's going to be Tom Brady. If it's not Tom Brady, this award's a joke at this point. It turns into a Grammy at that point. Like, I stopped respecting the Grammys when Macklemore won his whatever album he had over Good Kid, Mad City. I was like, oh, Grammys are nothing.
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers wins this MVP over a 44-year-old Tom Brady and all the other points that you made, NFL MVP is a joke of an award at that point.
My dad always made jokes about award shows like that. He goes, those award shows are just other rich people giving other rich people awards. Like,
literally is it.
That's a good point, Dad.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, it's crazy. It is crazy. Like, he's gonna get this award and want to play 10 more years.
Dude,
I mean, what is stopping this man from playing football?
It is nuts.
There's literally nothing. He has not really slowed down a bit. Like this season, I would have to check the stats on it, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the most years he had more rushing yards than some of his previous years.
It's crazy, too, because we talk about the prestige of a Nick Lidstrom and what he brings to the organization. Like, we're watching that in real time with Tom Brady as well. Guys are, like, taking way less money. He's reviving, like, premier talents. Well, some of them dwindled away, like Antonio Brown, but... Dude, yeah. What age do you think this guy stops playing football? Because he doesn't look like he's ready now at all.
I got a take for you. Ready for this one? Bill Belichick's going to coach till he's 95 just so he can try to outdo Tom Brady in what he's doing for the game of football.
I mean...
Would that surprise you? I feel like those two are so bitter that Bill Belichick would actually try to stay coaching longer in the NFL just so he could get kind of the, the same MO as Tom Brady.
I wonder, like, if there's a prop bet, like, what happens first? Bill Belichick passing?
Oh, my God.
Or Tom Brady making it to, like, 50 as that quarterback? Because Bill's up there.
Yeah, Bill's, I think, didn't he just turn 70? He might be, I'm pretty sure he's up there, which is crazy because it's still not the oldest coach in the league. That goes to Pete Carroll. But, I mean, it is, you just think, it's like, what year? And the funniest thing, too, is, like, what was that? I think 4 or 5 years ago. He started off the season, like, he struggled to start, like, first 4 games of the season, like, oh, this is done. This is the end of Tom Brady. Kind of like the same thing that happened to Tiger Woods. Like, this guy's done. He's washed up. And then, lo and behold, wins the Super Bowl last year. Probably going to win the MVP award this year. Like, where does it stop for this guy?
I was so mad. Because I was that guy. I was like, system quarterback, Bill Belichick, great defenses. Now, don't get me wrong. Tampa was loaded.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady still throwing amazing football. Like you said, like to the Big Ben point, like, yeah, Tom Brady's killing them in the stats, but just like watching them play the game of football, watching Tom Brady throw football versus Big Ben looks like he's trying to throw a wet sponge. Like, I don't even know. Like, he's awful out there, man.
Yeah.
Like, and Tom Brady still looks damn good.
Well, and yeah, his arm, really, I mean, it's maybe slowed down a touch, but nothing crazy. For me, too, it's like, I was so sick of Tom Brady, sick of the Patriots. And then I feel like once he went to Tampa Bay, I like him a bit more, especially what he did over the weekend, too, is he made sure Gronk got his extra $1 million. And even Antonio Brown, like, oh, I thought you were boys with him. He was like, no, I'm not. Like, I mean, pretty much just shrugged off being boys with Tom Brady. And, he's like, no, you're not taking me out of this game until I get my boy Gronk that extra $1 million. Like, these dudes have made millions of dollars over their career, and like they're still out there playing the game like they're 21, 22 years old.
1,000%. Tom Brady. If I'm a betting man, I'm using my bookie.ag promo code Woodward. Definitely put my money on Tom Brady. What about
bet responsibly too while you're at it?
Yes. There's a hotline for that. 1-800. Don't waste all your money. What rookie of the year?
Rookie of the year?
Yeah.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
There's no demand. As much as you want to try to make the argument, and I know Stick said on the bottom line yesterday, try to make the case for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but it's Jamar Chase. Especially like we say here in the preseason, Jamar Chase can't catch. Oh my God! Like what did the Bengals do at 5? Boy.
Oh yeah.
Boy, did they make us look stupid.
When I watch Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, it's reminiscent of Calvin and Stafford to me. Like, I love watching those guys.
Dude, some of the catches they made over the last few weeks, too, like, Joey B was just slinging it out there, and it didn't matter. Like, he was throwing it right over the top of the defenders, and Jamar Chase was coming down with it every single time. And that was Jamar Chase you got at LSU, and so when that happened in the preseason, when he made the joke going around about, the white lines on the football, I was like, uh-oh, our boy Jamar's in trouble.
Yeah, people in the media took that out of context. Like, that's just like this is a difference between college and NFL. But yeah, it's definitely Jamar Chase, Defensive Player of the Year. Who you got?
Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't be having this conversation either. It's Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
All day, every day, 10 times over. Parsons is an animal. And I get people out there making that argument too. Oh, the Lions could have had him. Could have had him. Penny Sewell is doing just fine. I won't call it. You're not going to see the flashiness that you get with Micah Parsons or the Jamar Chase. But building that interior line, that's been huge. I'm Parsons all day, no doubt about it. You?
For Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, I thought you said that was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt.
Yeah. I think so too.
So I actually, and he's played, I think, he's only played 12 or 13 games this year?
14.
Or something along those lines. And he tied Michael Strahan's record of 22.5 sacks in a season. I made the prediction at the beginning of last season, actually, or it might have even been 2 years ago. I said TJ Watt will be the defensive player of the year. And he made a case for it a little bit those years. But what that guy brings to the table, and that's kind of what I've talked about with having an edge rusher and being on the defensive side of the ball is, yeah, I got you got Minkah Fitzpatrick, who could, for you, easy could be that Kyle Hamilton. But if you're the Lions, like, do you try to trade down? I would love to have a guy like Nakobe Dean. I don't know if you can take Nakobe Dean at 2, though. I don't think you can.
No.
I think you trade down. Like, my whole thing I've been saying for months now is trade down. And because I think Nakobe Dean can be that type of player for the Lions.
I'd take it. Sign me up. Yeah.
But you're going with TJ for your defensive player of the year, too, as well, correct?
Yes, all day.
Yep.
All day.
Defensive rookie of the year, since I already gave my spiel about that.
Micah.
Not
even close.
Yeah. And I think if we can sit up here and say that, too, I think the smart voters around the world can make that as well, too. So I'd be shocked if it's anything other than that, at least for offensive. MVP still maybe a little bit more questionable, but as far as those awards, that's what I think as well, too. We got to hit one more break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit of Cooper Kupp winning Offensive Player of the Year, and we'll talk some other fun things as well, too. So make sure you're listening to us on YouTube. Hit that like button if you are. Make sure you head over to Twitter, too. Follow us on all of our socials, at Woodward Sports, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. We're live on Twitch as well, too. So if you can't watch us there, Twitch is another great place to watch us. And then if you have to hop in your car and go somewhere, make sure you tune on that radio. 99.1 and 93.5 FM or 94.7 HD2. We'll be right back. Big D Energy.
Big D.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
We are back on Big D Energy. I am your host, Nick Leach, filling in for Neil Rule. To my left, we got my boy Easy.
Oh, yeah.
A little under the weather, Easy.
Yes.
But he's making it happen. We got Sawyer in the TD booth. Our man Sam in the sound booth as well, too. It's been a great show today. Obviously, we're heading to our last segment of the day here at Easy. And we got to go back to something we talked about in the middle of this show of, which draft class would you rather have? The 2021 draft class or the 2013, which you were making the argument for? Easy, I hate to say this, but you lost. The final tally is in. The chat likes the 2021 draft class 64% more than the 2013 draft class.
Recency bias, slappy bias. All right. You guys are hoping these guys would be what this 2013 class was. All right. My 2013 class proved it. Multiple Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, how many playoff wins, though?
Darius Slade probably got one somewhere. Tucked in his back pocket. Ansah got one over us.
Here, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Here don't count. How many the 2021 class got us?
Yeah, we got time to figure out.
Hey, it's 0. We made the playoffs with the 2013 class. Just saying.
Wild card.
Just saying.
Wild card, yeah.
Hey, playoffs, though.
Playoffs? Talk about playoffs?
And it was no NFC East type of playoffs. With these guys, every year when these dudes are fumbling in the playoffs, makes me so mad.
I will say I do love the new playoff format. The extra team.
I'm a big fan of it.
So I felt like in years past, the playoff format was pretty much already done and set by week 17. So like a lot of it was just resting players and everyone getting ready, trying to get that extra bye week or so. But for now, it's a perfect way to do it. The top seed in each conference should definitely get a bye. 100% agree with that. Makes it way more entertaining and it makes it maybe a little bit easier for some of these teams to get into.
We got the Monday night game too now.
Yeah.
A playoff Monday night football game.
Too. So I want to talk about that as well too. The national championship, having the national championship before the playoffs, I think it's a great leeway into playoff football. Because in years past, you went wild card weekend, national championship, then the divisional series.
Yeah, and the thing too about like Monday nights, Brandon brought this up yesterday. It like extends your weekend almost. You know what I'm saying? Like gives you remnants of the week and having some football on a Monday night, and you had the national championship. Now we have that playoff football. Who is the Monday night football game?
Cardinals and Rams.
Good one. That's a good one. We can dive deep in that stuff tomorrow because we need something to talk about. But I'm pumped this entire weekend.
Yeah, I mean the slate of games is going to be unreal. We had 6 games total going on, which is I think wild card weekend you had 4 in years past. So you get 6 on the opening weekend, which is anytime you get more football. Who doesn't like more football?
Everybody loves more football.
Everyone loves more football.
Everybody loves more football.
Easy. We went to break. We were talking about the end of the season awards, and Cooper Kupp won the Pro Football Talks Offensive Player of the Year. Was Kupp the obvious choice, or did someone get snubbed?
I mean, if there's anyone that got snubbed, it's obviously Jonathan Taylor, but no, it's Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, it's got
dude was gonna break 2 records, Triple Crown winner. Come on now.
And it's crazy too. You think after a while, you try to double team a guy like that, and especially the big part of this too is he did it without Robert Woods. I get you brought in OBJ, you brought in Van Jefferson, stepped up quite a bit for them, but even when the best dynamic for that is obviously your cornerbacks are on the outside for the defensive side of the ball. Cooper Kupp lines up in that slot a lot. So usually you get a nickel back on him, or sometimes even a linebacker. Like that's just a bad recipe. Or sometimes you get the safety dropping over the top as well too. But they designed the offense so well for him to go out and flirt with Calvin's record.
So interesting fact about Cooper Kupp, he actually sits in every single positional meeting.
Does he? I actually did not know that.
And his routes, option routes. He's essentially like a quarterback at the receiver position. He's going out there. I mean, obviously designed option routes, so Matt Stafford knows what the hell's going on because Lord knows he'll mess it up if he didn't. But no, yeah, he's out there. He's reading the coverage and then picking his route based off that. And this guy was on pace to break the record since like week freaking like 4. You know what I'm saying? Like he's such a beast. They still can't stop him. And he's not physically dominating like a Jamar Chase or Calvin Johnson. He's literally just out. He's brilliant. He's one of the best. Like people don't want to say it, but I might even have to call him the best receiver over
Devontae Adams.
I might have to, dude.
Wow, that is.
Think about it, dude. He's got to be like the number one. Like, dude, we have to stop this guy from messing us up. This guy, he can't be stopped all season.
Yeah, sure. I mean, people try that with Devontae Adams too, and I think it was the Baltimore game. He had double coverage on them and still had some decent numbers there too. So
he's you could at least make the argument. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, there's no doubt, especially with Matthew Stafford, and he was like, you look at some of those receivers too. You look at a guy like remember Wes Welker, what he did in Denver with
same type of receiver,
with Peyton Manning. And then he went to where did he go? I think he went to New York.
No, he was Brady, and then he went with Manning.
Yeah, Brady, and then Manning.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I meant to say Eric Decker. Oh. Eric Decker was great in Denver. Yeah. And then he went to the Jets.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Now the nice thing about Cooper Kupp is he's put up good numbers with 2 quarterbacks. Obviously Jared Goff, he got him the ball. He put decent numbers, and then Matt Stafford took him to the next level. So it's crucial, to make sure you have that quarterback that can get these receivers that football in a time of need. And I look at, you look around the league. Is there a receiver out there that, could be like a Cooper Kupp or like a Devontae Adams, but that doesn't have a Aaron Rodgers or Matthew Stafford throwing to him? Is there anyone that really comes to mind for you? Like, maybe someone in Carolina or someone in New York.
Like who's good without the best quarterback?
Yeah, or who you think could compete maybe in that conversation of being, because like Cooper Kupp last year, you're not going to put in DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Diop's Diop. I still think he's in the conversation.
Oh, we're talking about like the Cooper Kupp style or Wes Welker style.
Yeah, like someone who's not really talked about that much throughout the league. Who, if they had somewhat of, I guess you could say, elite level quarterback throwing to him, that could make like I said, I was going to say Cooper Kupp wasn't that receiver. Like you would never in a million years last year you would have said Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in football, would you?
Last year?
Yeah.
No.
No, exactly. But
he's one of them, but no, not the best.
But now you got Matthew Stafford throwing to him, and it excels his performance. Is there another receiver out there through the league that you could see make a jump like that if there, let's say, a QB switch was made? Like, you've heard the rumblings with Russell Wilson. You've heard the rumbles with Aaron Rodgers this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look to Denver. You look to Carolina.
I just got to say no, just based off, like, doing my research for trying to, like, convince him being the MVP. No, like, I doubt there's other receivers that are in every single positional meeting, running option routes every route. You know what I'm saying? And, like, having teams game plan against them every single week and still putting it up without being a superior athlete. Yes, he's a superior athlete compared to you and I, but, like, he's not Jamar Chase. He's not Cal. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's where it comes, the brains, right? Is how much does the football brain come into being a good NFL player? Obviously, there's athletic ability and the smarts there as well, but that's actually an interesting fact. I had no idea that he did that. Now that that's out, you'll be interested to see if that comes up with other receivers in the league. So I'm excited to talk more football with everybody. It's been a great show today, filling in for Neil. I appreciate everyone in the chat for having me on and being so kind. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. Easy's actually going to miss the first part of the show, so it'll be Stick and I on the desk to kick off the morning, which will be a lot of fun. Our boy Sawyer will be back in the TD booths. Our boy Flannel Sam back in the soundboard. This is Big D Energy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Gang, gang.
That's not winning, Joy. Give me that biscuit. I'm going to bury that biscuit.
I was born in it, molded by it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Oh, jeez.